Okay, stop beeping at me and let me do things. Okay, there we go. See, I am coordinating the content and everything, as well as doing the commentary. So, on the left-hand side of your screen is Cameron Jackson. Looks like Cameron is on some form of a black-white aggro deck, which is funny because that's also what his opponent is playing. Jacob Young is on the left of your screen. We saw his brother, actually his identical twin brother, Dylan Young, in our first-round feature match. And Jacob is keeping it going. He is playing a white-based aggro deck with a splash of black. And it looks like Cameron is also playing a black-white deck, but his appears to be more evenly split between the two, though you wouldn't be able to tell that based on the fact that he only has 2 swamps out right now, and it looks like a load of white cards in hand. So risky keep. Looks like we're going to see an arrest on the Spiteful return, so that thing is not going to be able to attack or block, and therefore not going to be able to pick away. And it looks like Jacob's going to pass the turn here, so Cameron does draw planes, so that's good for him. And here is a Hero of Iris going to come into play. So, of course, that does make Aura spells cost 1 less. Alright, so Jacob is going to play his land for turn. He has a plains, so 3 mana we're going to see here. Fabled Hero. So Jacob is playing a heroic-based deck. And it looks like Cameron is on a similar plan. So we're going to see a second Soldier of the Pantheon. And I believe we're going to see a Soldier of the Pantheon attack here, and Cameron is going to take the 2 damage. And this Precinct Captain is really holding down the fort here for Jacob. Cameron not able to attack through it yet. Alright, so here is a Soldier of the Pantheon of his own. And you see his hand, he's got a lot of double white spells in his hand. And only that Singleton Plains is really hurting him right now. So Cameron is going to need to draw another Plains pretty quickly if he wants to be able to climb out of the little hole that the Singleton mana is causing him to be in. I believe we see... is this another arrest? It is. Arrest on the Hero of Iris. So that is now going to be pacified, as they say, and unable to attack. And it looks like Jacob is thinking about if he wants to send in any attackers. It looks like he's sending in the team here. A full-on attack. Looks like we're going to see a chump block. And looks like we're going to see a God's Willing. So that's going to give a scry and as well as a counter. So the counter is on the Fabled Hero now. So that, of course, a 3/3 double striker. It looks like Cameron missed on plains on white mana again, and he just has to pass the turn. Nothing going on here. And what was that drawn? I believe that is a Swift Justice drawn for Jacob for the turn. And so here is the Swift Justice. The Fabled Hero is going to be pumped up. So that is going to be 10. This is actually a lethal attack right now, if Cameron does not have any way to deal with it. And he does not, so we're going to see a preemptive handshake here after game number 1, and we're going to go to game 2. So Jacob Young with his black-white heroic deck will be up 1-0. Cameron struggled a little bit on mana there, only had one white mana, and a whole lot of more than 1 white mana casting cost creatures and spells in his hand. Little unfortunate there, but we'll see if he's able to pull it back for game number 2. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Midgard Gaming Under 16 tournament. This is the final round of our Swiss. Excuse me. I believe both of these players sitting at 3-1 right now. Jacob Young is going to be up 1-0 over Cameron Jackson. Both players playing a black-white aggro-typed deck. Both seem to also be using the heroic theme. So we see a heroic mirror. It's not every day you see that. And Jacob with a very impressive display there. He was able to resolve his spells when he wanted to resolve them. Cameron had a little bit of an issue with his mana there, stumbled a bit, and ended up getting punished for it. So it looks like Jacob, I think, is taking a mulligan here. And he is. Jacob is going to take a mulligan. Looks like Cameron is content with his opening hand. I see he has both colors of mana this time, so that's going to be very, very important. So Jacob is on the mulligan here. I saw 1 mana in his hand. Is it the requisite colors? I guess he's going to keep it, so we're going to see turn 1 Soldier of the Pantheon for Cameron. And it is met by a turn 1 Fabled Hero from Jacob. So Cameron playing the more traditional 1-drop here, but the Fabled Hero does work very well with Jacob's heroic theme. So he's going to be looking to take advantage of that right off of the hop. See if Cameron decides to attack. He decides not to. So Plains is the land drop, and Jacob just says go. And so it looks like a Fabled Hero draw. Again, awkward because he doesn't have all his colors. Looks like he has a pacifism in his hand. That looks like an Urza Saga pacifism. Alright, so here comes an attack. And no blocks were declared, so Jacob's going to take 2 here. And it looks like Cameron's just going to say go here. Not going to worry about the hoplite right now. And Jacob's just going to pass the turn again. So once again, I believe 2 Urza Saga pacifisms now in hand for Cameron. Looks like he's planning to use one of those, potentially. And so he is. And it looks like we're going to see a Bile Blight knocking out the Soldier of the Pantheon. So the Fabled Hoplite is going to be pacified. However, Bile Blight is going to take down the Soldier. So the onslaught of that is going to be stopped for the moment. Jacob hits his second white mana. And we're going to see 3 mana for a Fabled Hero. This is the card that got Jacob there pretty fast last game. Second Plains drawn for Cameron. Looks like we're going to see 4 mana. It looks like we're just going to see a Fabled Hero here, so it looks like floating the extra mana. And a second Fabled Hero from Jacob. So 2 Fabled Heroes versus 1 Fabled Hero, but we know that Cameron does have quite a few tricks in his hand, and oh dear, that is an Eidolon of Countless Battles being bestowed. So we're going to see Heroic Trigger, which is going to make the Fabled Hero a 3/3, followed by the buff from the Eidolon, which is currently +2/+2. So that is a 5/5 double striker that we have on the board right now, facing down the 2/2/2 double strikers. And here we see an attack. And it looks like we're going to see 1 Fabled Hero chump block. Looks like the players are just discussing something really fast. think they're trying to decipher exactly what's going on with this this block. So it is as we expected. The Fabled Hero did just kind of jump in front, so it looks like they're just counting up how big that enchanted hero is. And Cameron going to pass the turn. So here we see another Favorite Hoplite going to be played, and here comes Fabled Hero, going to hit for 4 points of damage, so Cameron going to get knocked to 16 here, and Jacob's going to pass the turn. He is representing a God's Willing here. Pacifism on Fabled Hero. Gonna get that out of there. And I think Cameron is trying to decide if he wants to God's Willing, and he does. So God's Willing is going to happen. He is going to look at his top card, decides he wants that Scryland. Another counter is going to be added, and this is for a whole lot of damage. Looks like we're going to see a God's Willing played as well for Jacob's side, but I think there might be a bit of confusion here, because that Fabled Hero, if protection from white, was in fact named on Cameron's hero, then he is going to be unable to block. I think that's what the players are currently discussing. I think they're just trying to decipher the interactions here. And it looks like it is as we thought. The protection from white was named, therefore the creature could not block. Jacob's going to take a hefty hit here. And it looks like he's going to be down to 12. Though it should be more than that. Okay, that's kind of confusing. I feel like he should be at a lower life total. That Fabled Hero attacked for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so it should have dealt Jacob 12. So I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna go in real fast, make sure that our life totals are not mixed up here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the life totals have been resolved, and it has resulted with Cameron Jackson winning this game. And so they are going to be going to a third and final one here. So it was as we thought. The players had just forgotten about double strike on the Fabled Hero, so that last attack was in fact for 12. However, Cameron did have another God's Willing for the unblockability again, which ended up being for 14, which finishes Jacob off regardless of that life discrepancy, but that has been resolved, and Cameron's going to tie it up. So we are going to go to a third and final game here in the Black-White Heroic Mirror. So Jacob is going to be on the play for this game, which is, I feel, a very big advantage. In this matchup. This is, of course, an aggressive mirror match, and the play versus the draw is pretty huge when it comes to how the game can play out for you. You have a chance to start bestowing your creatures first, start enchanting them first. It is a massive advantage. And so, looks like Jacob going to look at his opening hand. It looks like he is going to keep. Both players content with their openers. Though it looks like Cameron might not be. No, it looks like Cameron is going to take a mulligan. Okay, so just a little bit of just Jacob was a little bit hasty, so but Cameron is going to take a mulligan down to 6 here. And this is exactly where you don't want to be in this kind of a mirror, is being on the mulligans. Very similar to, say, a mono-red aggressive mirror match where every card you have counts. A mulligan is often the deciding factor between a win and a loss. But that being said, that's not always the case. So we'll see if Cameron is able to bring this back. He is on the draw, which is where you want to be when you're on the mulligan, because you do at least get to replace the card. It looks like Cameron is content with his opener now, and he's going to draw a God's Willing for turn, and here we see a Soldier of the Pantheon as the opening play. Jacob going to take a draw. He's going to play a second Plains. See if he has a 2-drop. He does not. He is just going to pass the turn. Cameron is going to untap, play a Swamp. It looks like we're going to see a Hero Virus and an attack for 2. So Jacob says, that's fine, I will take 2. Jacob is going to fall to 18, and Cameron is just going to pass the turn. I believe God's Willing the draw for turn for Jacob, and it looks like he has the Fabled Hero. Is he going to run it out here? And he is. So Fabled Hero is going to come into play. But it looks like Cameron has a Fabled Hero of his own. So he does. So this is a very strong mulligan here for Cameron. He's doing very, very well on this mulligan to 6 here. He has curved very, very well. So it looks like he's going to pass the turn back now, and he's putting it on Jacob to have an interaction. So it looks like Swamp is the land for turn. And is he lining up a Bile Blight? Okay, he is lining up a Bile Blight. However, one thing that he does not realize is that that is going to kill his own Fabled Hero. So I'm going to go real fast, make sure that the players know that. Okay, so that has been resolved. That was a little bit of a misstep there on Jacob. Was not aware of the fact that Bile Blight would in fact take out his own Fabled Hero. That has been resolved. And the Fabled Hero has fallen, and now Cameron is looking very firmly in the driver's seat of this game. And now with 2 Hero Virus, I bet he wish he had Bile Blight for that. So just a bit of a misstep there. And I believe we're going to see there's an ultimate price taking down one of the heroes. So Hero Virus is going to fall. Jacob is going to pass the turn. Jacob's sitting at 14 life. And it looks like we're going to see 3 mana and Hardcast Eidolon of Countless Battles. Cameron is trying to force the clock here. He's saying, you are stumbling, you don't have a whole lot of action, I need to punish you for that. And, of course, not having a 4th land to bestow means that he is currently going to be running with the Hardcast. Eidolon of Countless Battles here. Although, technically speaking, that being said, I do believe that the Hero of Iris would reduce the cost of the bestow. I could be wrong about that, but that could just be something that he missed. So he does opt to hardcast it, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So it looks like we're going to see a Phalanx Leader going to be played for Jacob. Good card, but not so much when your board is empty. Turn's going to be passed here. It looks like a God's Willing the draw for turn for Cameron. Jacob's sitting at just 10 life. So, let's see. Okay, so it looks like they're just getting a dice so that both players are aware of the size of this Eidolon. And as well, for you guys at home, you guys can easily keep track of it. And here we see a Pacifism attempting to target the Phalanx Leader. We're going to see a God's Willing in response. So Pacifism is going to fail to hit the Phalanx Leader. We're going to see a Scry from Jacob. We're going to ship that Swamp to the bottom. And Tormented Hero is going to be played, and we're going to see a God's Willing on the Hero of Iris, which is going to put a counter on that, and a Scry from the God's Willing. Didn't catch what it was, but whatever it was, he did not want it, so Cameron's going to ship that to the bottom. Leaving the Eidolon back on defense, attacking here for what is 5 points of damage, half of Jacob's life total. Now, I'm not sure if Jacob notices this, and it looks like he does. And that Phalanx Leader does not actually die. So, once again, going to run in and correct that real quick, because that Phalanx Leader does have protection from white from the God's Willing earlier that turn to save it from Pacifism, meaning that it should not have died there. Okay, no, it ended up being good. The pace of play has been rather quick, so it's a little hard to follow. But apparently that was on a different turn. The turn prior to that, it was saved from the Pacifism. So the trade did in fact happen, and so it looks like Cameron's going to tap 3 mana once again. Banisher Priest going to come into play. His Banisher Priest ability is a May. He does not have to exile one of his own creatures to it. So he is going to pump up that Eidolon here. That is an attack for 5. Jacob down to 2, and things looking pretty grim for Jacob here. And I believe that was a God's Willing for turn. It does not look like Jacob has anything. Well, we're going to see an arrest. And I don't think Jacob has any life gain here. So there is an Ethereal Armor, which is going to pump up the Banisher Priest. And we're going to see God's Willing. And that is the game and the match. Cameron Jackson is going to take down the match 2-1, and that will advance him into our top 8. So congratulations to Cameron. And Jacob put up a good fight, but 1 or 2 missed things, and the big turning point was, of course, the missed interaction on the Bile Blight. But I can guarantee you that after that, he is never going to make that mistake again. Never once will he do that again. When you make a mistake like that, you learn from it, and you never do it again. So that is something he has learned here today, and that's the whole point of this tournament. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go to a break. We're going to get our top 8 paired up and announced. We will let you guys know then who is